Hi and welcome to today's lesson. What we're going to do today is go through the A to Z of learning guitar. This is going to be really fun. We're going to dive straight in with the letter A. So A is for audio tracks, okay? So what I want you to do is play along with the audio tracks. Here's a bunch of CDs. I mean, does anybody listen to CDs anymore apart from me? I actually listen to them all the time in the car. But listening to music and playing along with the audio tracks for any songs you learn is great. Playing along with backing tracks, playing along with the recordings for any lessons you're doing, it all makes such a difference. When I started, I used to play songs and I never played them with the backing tracks, with the original recordings. And you know what? My timing was always skewed and it was always slightly off. When I started putting the recordings on and playing along with them, it made me realise where my timing was bad, but it also made me a lot better, a lot faster. So A, audio tracks. B is for bar chords. Now, bar chords are one of the essentials to really mastering the guitar. You want to be able to play bar chords everywhere, up and down, a variety of major and minor shapes. Ideally, you want to play a 5-string minor, a 5-string major, a 6-string major, and a 6-string minor. Okay? Some are harder than others, but that's what I get all my students to do. Over time, do not rush and always use good technique. A lot of people play bar chords and they'll squeeze and clamp and they'll be in a bad position, then they'll add pressure. So it'll be like this. There'll be buzzing notes and all they'll do is add more and more and more pressure. And that's just going to lead to worse results in a tired hand. So the key thing, one little tip with bar chords, get in the precise position, fingers on the tips, close to the frets, add a little bit of pressure, okay, and then relax, and then repeat. Keep relaxing in between as well, that'll help. C is for chord changes. Everybody struggles with chord changes at first. If you play for a while, you might have forgotten how hard chord changes were for you in the beginning. A lot of people do forget, they kind of blank it out, almost like, they're scarred by it and it's a bad experience in their life, so they just block it out from the memory. But if you've struggled with chord changes, or you struggle right now, then, you will get better at them. But the thing is, you got to be precise. You got to be really aware of what you're doing. I would pick just one pair of chords to start with. Something like C to A minor or D to G. Whatever it is, just pick a simple pair of chords, master that, okay? Do it back and forth over and over. Set a timer for 2 minutes. And if you've got to take your fingers off to do the chord change, like C to G, which is hard, then just try and land them all at the same time. There's so much that we could talk about with chord changes, but a little tip, just pick one pair of chords, master that, because each time you master a pair of chords, the changes between them, it will make your finger dexterity, muscle memory that little bit better, and it has a knock-on effect for other chords as well, okay? So when you pick one pair, master that, and then you go to another pair, master that, each one will just get that little bit easier. But you've got to be patient with chord changes. That is why some of these other things in this A to Z are going to really help you while you're being patient. D is for the death grip. A lot of people will squeeze the life out of the guitar and press so hard, okay? You do not need to press hard. I call it minimum pressure required. All you got to do is get close to the fret, really close, and take the pressure off, and then just add a little bit of pressure on. When you do, you'll realise that you don't need much pressure at all, because a lot of people are just stuck in this way, in this mindset of, I've got to build up big hard calluses and have big strong fingers, but you do not need that. You just need a nice light touch, but on a nicely set up guitar, okay, and it will help, whether that's individual notes, whether it's scale runs or licks or chords, okay, a nice light touch, avoid that death grip. E is for the essentials. So many people gloss over the basics when they're teaching guitar. Like, you can go on YouTube and you can see all this advanced stuff, this fancy stuff and this complicated stuff, but sometimes you just need to really focus on the fundamentals, the essentials, okay? And that includes the way you sit. You'll notice I sit in a classical position. It's just a lot easier. It just makes it, for me, access to the high notes and low notes and all the notes just a lot easier, less strain on my wrist. I'm much more comfortable. I can get a better tone with this hand as well, because I'm playing across the strings rather than sort of sliding down them. All these little things make such a difference. So always work on the essentials. All the greats will tell you this. Even Jeff Beck in his later years was still working on these fine details. Andreas Segovia, the classical maestro, he was always working on the fine details as well. Those little things make such a difference. F is for 5 songs. One of the first big goals I give to every single student is to be able to play 5 songs. A variety, it doesn't matter what songs, it can be fun little riffs, it can be strumming songs, finger picking songs, fingerstyle melodies, that sort of thing. It can be really, really simple stuff, but the first big goal you should have is to play 5 songs, okay? Why? Well, if you learn 5 songs, you're going to learn a lot of skills, okay? It's just impossible not to, okay? Unless it's just like a one-note song, but how many one-note songs are there, or one-chord songs? There's just not. So every time you learn a song, you're going to learn a new skill, no matter what the song. And then you're going to build the confidence and have a repertoire to play it as well. Also, when you learn the 5 songs, you can start thinking about like the theory behind them and start studying the songs and comparing them and applying all the different things that you know about theory to them. So it really helps you understand music as a whole when you do that sort of thing. Okay, so 5 songs is a great first goal. If you haven't done that just yet, I highly recommend that you do. In my Dan Thorpe Acoustic Academy, which I'll tell you about a bit more, maybe later or in another video, I have the 5 song club. Okay, then what it is, basically anybody who can play 5 songs will send me a little video, okay, whether they've learnt the songs from me or elsewhere, and we celebrate the students' success in the academy with all the other members, and they get a really cool prize sent to them as well. So that's something you can think about, the 5 song club. Really, really do. Go for it if you haven't done it already and have loads of fun, because playing music should be fun. Now G, I'm really stuck on G. What could I do with G when it comes to playing guitar? Wait, G is for guitar, of course, okay. So, stupid joke, Dan, but there you go. G is for guitar, and the reason why is because you want to play a guitar that is suitable for you, okay? Not for anybody else. A lot of people will ask me, they'll email me and they'll say, Dan, what is a good guitar for me? Can you recommend one? And I'm like, no. And they're like, why? And I'm like, well, go to a shop, try 10 different guitars out and see which feels best for you, because your fingers, your hands, your body is going to be different to mine, okay? And some guitars that I've played that have been very expensive just haven't felt right to me. Some guitars have been much, much, much cheaper, like ridiculously cheap, like $80. Well, I mean, in England, so that'd be like £70 or something, but whatever it is. So the key thing is, though, I found that some of these other cheaper guitars were just played so much better. Yeah, they was made from cheaper wood, they was made in some sort of like little factory somewhere in some backstreet place in some corner of the world, and hopefully it was somebody who was getting paid nicely to make it, by the way. And these guitars played nicely, and that's the key thing. You know what? You want to play a guitar that suits you, because if you do, you'll just find it so much more comfortable. Yes, I like Yamaha guitars, I like them a lot, but that doesn't mean you're going to like them. They just suit me. They're just the way they're built, the way they sound, the way they feel. So what I would highly recommend you do, if you're not happy with your guitar, go to a shop, try out a whole bunch and see how you get on. That's such a key piece of advice. H is for Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix, of course. He was one of the greats. He was one of my all-time favourites. He had such good rhythm skills. I've got another lesson on my YouTube channel, which you'll see in the description, where we're playing kind of like Hendrixy stuff. That kind of thing. It's fun. Hendrix was just great at taking 2 boring chords or a few boring chords and just doing really cool stuff with it. That there was just a C and a G. A lot of people would just play that like this. But Hendrix, no, he did something different with everything he played. His music was wild, it was frenetic, it was interesting, it was fun. So I love Hendrix, and I couldn't help but make H Hendrix. I is for isolation. So many people learn on their own. I was doing that all the time when I started out. It took me ages to get jamming with other people. I didn't have the confidence to do it, but the more you can jam with people, the better. That could be what I talked about before, playing with recordings, playing, to backing tracks and stuff like that. But if you can play with real people, then that's even better. Try it with me now. We're going to strum a G, D, E minor, C, and we're going to use the down, down, up, down, up strum pattern, this one. Okay, so after 4, G, D, E minor, C, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? And if you like that, you could put anything you like over it. You could play some scales, some leads, some melodies, but have a little jam with me. I'm going to enjoy it, so do it. Make sure you do. J is for joy. Now, one of the key things a lot of people forget about, ironically, when it comes to teaching and learning guitar, is that they forget to enjoy the process. You got to get joy from every moment you practice. Yes, there's going to be hard times. There's going to be times where you think, it's just not clicking today. But take a moment to do something fun. It's really cool to finish your practice sessions off on a high and play something that you really like. I tell everybody my number 1 rule of learning guitar should be every day try and improve one tiny thing and try and have some fun. Okay? Get the joy. Always keep the joy, and always use the joy, your happiness, as your shining light, your beacon, your North Star. So keep the joy. K is for knowledge. Now, so many people take on lots of knowledge, lots of different things. They learn chords, they learn scales. They tend to learn a lot of stuff, but some people don't really know what to do with it. I'd much rather you learn just a couple of chords and one scale and learn how to play it to a really good standard. You know, instead of learning like the blues scale up and down the fretboard in loads of different positions, why not just learn like one little lick and one little rhythm? You know, that sort of thing, the shuffle rhythm. Learn just little bits like that and really max it out. And you've probably watched some of my other videos if you're watching this video right now, and the blues videos on this channel lately have been incredibly popular, and there's loads. You'll see there's so many different ways I max out the blues scale in just a couple of positions, and you know, the 12-bar shuffle. There's so much we can do. I mean, there is a huge amount more I'm going to share with you about the blues, finger picking and strumming and all that sort of stuff, but just having a couple of core ideas and really making the most of it is so much better than just taking on more and more knowledge. Okay, so keep that in mind. All right, L is for listening. How much do you listen when you play? One thing I think you should always do is play something every day with your eyes shut, so that you really listen, because a lot of people are constantly looking and like this, okay, but instead you should be listening. So for instance, let me give you a little test. I'm going to play a little 2-note melody on the high E string, okay, and don't look, but you're going to try and work out what it is, okay? So open high E, and then there's going to be 2 notes after it on the high E. Okay, so what was I playing? It was basically this. Open 7, 10. Now some people will think, oh, that's so easy, Dan. What are you doing? That's the easiest test in the world. Some people struggle with that. And you know what? If you've never really listened to music that much on a deeper level and work stuff out by ear, even working out a couple of notes like that will take a little bit of time. So don't worry, okay? But the more you do it today, listen, work out stuff by ear, really listen when you're playing as well. Listen to all the fine details. It makes such a difference. M is for melody. Okay, so melodies are so important. Melodies are the backbone of so much of music, okay? Without the melody, there is no tune, there is nothing to hum, there's nothing to really enjoy. All you have is a bunch of chords, you know. Chords are there to help the melody. Now, melodies can be played within chords. Like that sort of Travis picking stuff, which again, you know, I've done a video on that on my channel. The link is in the description to that. But there's always going to be melodies you can hum, okay? So always make sure when you're playing a song that has a melody, the melody is strong, you can hear it, it's nice and clear. N is for notebook. I recommend everybody gets a simple notebook and you write down the notes, okay, of things that you're learning, things that you want to learn, things that you're struggling with, and you keep it next to you. You can even write a little practice routine, and feel free to adapt all these things as you go along. But I'll tell you what, once you've been playing for a couple of months, you can have a lot of knowledge, okay? There's going to be lots of little things to learn, and it's so easy to forget it all, but a notebook can really help. O is for open strings. I love open strings on the guitar. I think they're wonderful, and you know what? They allow you to play high up melodies, and you can have some big bass notes ringing out throughout. You know, if we take this little piece, you might know that. That's the intro to Romanza. Beautiful piece. I'm not going to play it all, but you know, it's so fun because you've got the bass notes ringing out, you've got the G and the B string ringing out, and it sounds really cool. The open strings really allow it to flourish. Without the open strings, it would just sound like, which is nowhere near as exciting, okay? So having open strings is one of the key things of the guitar. When you play higher up the fretboard, you can use those open strings in creative and clever ways, you know, whether it's arrangements of your own or other people's, but always think about how you can use the open strings. P is for posture. When I started learning guitar, I used to be really into like watching old movies, or all movies, but I used to watch some old movies like the Hitchcock movies I'd just discovered, and they were really cool. So I'd lie in bed, or on my bed, and I'd just be chilling like with a guitar like this, not really focusing on my posture, and I'd be watching the movies. And you know what? I was getting into all sorts of bad habits. It's only when I realised, actually, you know what? I've got to sit with a straight back. I've got to sit with my shoulders relaxed. All these things really help, especially when I'm learning stuff. If it's stuff I can play like kind of in my sleep, you know, figuratively speaking, then, you know, I probably could be lying down on my bed playing it. And, you know, it would look kind of cool, or not, it look kind of stupid, who knows? But the thing is, when you're learning challenging things, you want to optimise your posture. And I like the classical position, like I say, but either way, however you sit, make sure you're comfortable and you're relaxed, okay? You've got a nice straight back and you're not all hunched and leaning over the guitar. It all makes such a big, big difference. Q Q is for quizzes. One of the things I've always loved to do with students is test their knowledge. I'd quiz them every single time, every lesson. We'd do a little section where I'd ask them like about certain things. For instance, like I'd ask them about music theory. Tell me the major chords in the key of G. I'm going to ask you right now, what are those? Okay, so the major chords in the key of G are G, C, D. And you know what? If a student was learning theory and they'd learned that bit of knowledge a couple of weeks before, when I'd test them, it'd get the cogs turning in the brain and all that memory and all these little things would be firing up, the neurons, and the memory would be working, okay? And I wouldn't be forgetting stuff. So what you always want to do is find out how you can get tested on stuff. Do little music quizzes, do little theory quizzes, test yourself on the knowledge, okay? And you know what? In the Dan Thorpe Acoustic Academy, I do this. I call it the GQC training. There's over 91 little ways of testing students, with some written quizzes, some oral ear training quizzes, and some little challenges, okay? Stuff like that. There's so much good stuff in there, okay? But if you use a teacher in real life, to help you learn, then get them to test you on stuff, okay? Ask friends to help test your knowledge. It really, really makes such a big difference. Such a proven way of helping you retain more knowledge. R is for realism. And you know what? It's so important to give you a hearty dose of realism. If you're learning guitar or you've been struggling for a while, then just realise it's not an easy journey. It takes time. A lot of people underestimate how much, progress that they will make, and they think, in a year's time I should be able to do this, this and this. But the truth is, most people take a couple of years to get pretty good at the guitar. But you know what? You've got the choice. Either do it or don't. And that's the way I see it. If you're not going to do it, then that's great. Go and learn ukulele or go and do something else. But if you're going to commit to the guitar, be realistic about it and enjoy the process. Okay? It's harsh words in some ways, but you know what? It's a wonderful journey. It's not just a journey of learning music. It's you're learning so many different skills that just work in lots of areas of life. Like patience and commitment, and just the ability to process information, testing your memory, improving your health, all these different skills and benefits. So just enjoy the process. Be realistic about it, okay? And don't worry if you're not making as much progress as you think you should, because the truth is, a lot of people will not say how hard it is as well. A lot of people out there will say, yeah, it took me 2 years and I only practiced for like 10 minutes a day or whatever. No, the truth is they've probably played for a lot longer than that. A lot of people do fib a little bit when it comes to sharing their experiences, because we all like to look cool, okay, and that's it. But the truth is, it's a tough instrument to learn. It takes patience, but you can enjoy the journey, and it's so rewarding. S is for strumming. Strumming can be a bit of a dark art for some people. Some people strum and they get a tone like this. That's really harsh and brittle. So you know what you want to do is make sure you strum with a nice light touch, okay? Gentle touch with the strumming hand, okay? And just be able to strum in a nice mellow way. Get a pleasant tone, and then later on you can do all the fun stuff. You can do all that sort of stuff, just whatever it is, just noodling. But if you can't do a good basic down strum and a good basic up strum, just get working on that first, okay? And then apply that to a simple strum pattern. But make sure your strumming tone is good, because you can have a lot of fun with strumming. T is for theory. A lot of people will struggle with theory. They'll get overwhelmed with it, and they'll just take on too much information. Theory can be a bit too much, but the key thing is that you just do a little bit of theory and apply it, okay? I call that practical theory. You don't want to learn lots and then just sit and read a book on theory for like 4 hours or something and then never use it. Just learn one tiny little bit and apply it. For instance, what are the chords in the key of G? Learn that. How to play the G major scale. What are the notes? Learn that. And for most people, that'll be enough information for a week or two at least, maybe even a month. And then you just apply it and you see what songs use those chords and that scale that are in the key of G. And that's practical theory. It's really powerful. Okay, U is for up strums. We already talked about strumming but you know what? A lot of people really struggle with up strums and they get this kind of jagged harp sound. Little tip with your up strums. Just try and strum the top 3 strings, the G, B and high E. And try and get a nice light up strum. Don't try and strum all the strings available to you at first. If you just strum those 3 strings, so much easier and sound much more musical, and then you can apply it into a strum pattern by just practicing down ups, and you won't have this sound which a lot of people have. So just nice and gentle on that up strum. Simple but it works. V is for victory, okay? And not escape to victory. You know that film? Great film, by the way. I love that film. If you've ever checked that out, okay, the old war film with Sylvester Stallone and Pele, football film, you know, really cool. But anyway, B is for victory, okay? And what you want to do is celebrate every victory, every success you have on the guitar. When you learn a song, celebrate it, okay? Most people are pretty good at beating themselves up when things don't go well, but they don't give themselves enough credit when things are going well. So always remember, celebrate each victory. Buy yourself a gig ticket, buy yourself a new guitar, you know? Buy yourself a pint, maybe on me. If you're over in England, I'll get you one, okay? Just for celebrating it with you, okay? And enjoy the process. W is for Wish You Were Here. I love this song. It's just a great song by Pink Floyd. I don't need to say much more than that, okay? Wish You Were Here, classic tune. X is for Xmas or Christmas, okay? And as you could hear, I was playing a little bit Jingle Bells there. It's a really fun little piece, you know? You can play a little bit of a melody on its own, a D chord, yeah, and then you've got the second fret high E 3 times for Jingle Bells, second fret again, high E, Jingle Bells, and then 2, 5 on the high E, and then 3 on the B, open high E, and 2 on the high E. You can either play the melody like that, or you can combine it with a chord, the D chord, like I did. And then you can go and learn the full tune. It's a great song, it's a classic, it's really, really enjoyable, and everybody should learn a Christmas song. You know, that's probably the most popular, but give it a go. Y is for you, okay? You, okay? It's all about you, it's your journey. Don't let anybody else tell you what you should do, what you shouldn't do, or where you should be, and don't let anybody make you feel bad about your playing, okay? So if you ever feel like you're struggling or you jam with somebody and somebody's a little bit patronising, which does happen, I've had that with students where they'll say, Dan, I've had a jam with a friend and you know what, it went really bad, that wasn't very nice, they said I should do this, this and this, and I felt overwhelmed, and I was like, and I'll be like, you know what, don't worry about it, okay? Do play with other musicians, do talk to other musicians, but think about your journey for you. Never let anybody, you know, bother you, basically. Have a thick skin, but enjoy the process, okay? Remember, you know, it's all about you, and just enjoy it. Right, Z's for ZZ Top, okay? I'm on Z, I'm like, what do I do with Z, okay? But you know what, why not put it as ZZ Top? It's a bit of fun. You know what, one day I'll be able to grow a really cool beard. You know, even at my age, I still don't grow a great beard. That's not great, is it? So I'm gonna like have a lesson with ZZ Top, not on playing guitar, on growing beards, okay? If you got any tips, let me know, okay? But anyway, yeah, Z is for ZZ Top. So I hope you enjoyed that. That is the 26 tips, because it's part of the alphabet, of learning guitar, okay? So I hope you enjoyed it. And if you want more tips from me, more help, then you might like to check out this book. It's called the 6-String Lifer's Handbook, okay? You can get it for free as part of the Dan Thorpe Acoustic Academy. If you try at the Academy, you get a 14-day free trial, get this book. All you gotta do is pay postage for this book and a whole series of other amazing bonuses. The Academy is now open again. I close it down every now and then and open it up at various points for students, but you know what? You can join it. And that is a really cool, I should say, spiral bound book as well. So it doesn't fall off your music stand and it stays open. It's an amazing book. It's got plenty of cool tips. It's in full colour. 27 powerful tips that are going to help you with your playing, okay? So some of the tips we talked about today are in there and expanded. There's a lot more detail, a lot more depth, and a lot more fun stuff for you to enjoy. So you can check that out at fingerstyle101.com/academy. Thank you so much for watching this. I've really had a blast creating this. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment below. Let me know your favourite tips as well. And you know what? Feel free to let me know if you want me to expand upon any one of those 26 tips. And if you enjoyed that, check out this video here on playing guitar some more. Cheers, bye bye.